period of lockdown, there was a certain place. Now you go to Gambia, they have locked Gambia down.
Yeah.
But if you go to a place near the line where called Oka Street, you still have a community of these northerners there, where they bring a lot of these their fruits and all that. And I was passing there, and they were just the way they sit close. Sometimes they eat when they want to eat. All of them they have a bowl before them, and everybody is eating together. And I mean, they are not. You ask yourself, this they talk for time. Has it really gotten to these people?
Just yams on here.
And not just them, even for us. Now it's easy when you come up, or go to our waterfronts.
Oh, that's it.
And see how people live. So if we're awareness creation, sensitization, allow the people there to completely annihilate, just kill themselves away. So that when you lock us down, we stay here, we die here. Everybody will die here.
Locked down to death.
That's what will happen. So it has its own place. But you won't lock down just for the sake of locking down. You will lock down and allow people to separate themselves. Because as they say, the virus does not move. It is human beings that take it around one to another. So if I stand here and you sit there and the other one is there, how would it? If I have it, well, I stay here. The moment I collapse and go and I'm gone, it is done here. But if I move here and to meet another person and then I've transferred it. So if we're just looking at just merely just lockdown, no, that won't help. We will need to go down and let people know how to that they need to change the way they have always lived, the way we've always related.
I was telling somebody that do we need to also tell people that they need to change the way they eat? Mm-hmm. Is that something that we should also talk about now? Because a lot of people think that these are times where we must still eat 3 times a day.
The way you eat will be determined by the amount of the availability of
hold on. There are some people who have enough that can take them twice a day.
Okay.
But will tell you we're starving because they haven't eaten for that 3rd round that they didn't get as usual. And so are still out there pressuring the system. Hold on. Are still out there pressuring the system and clamoring for the few bags available to be shared. So I'm saying, should the conversation also reach this kind of people and tell them, look,
but you can be forced because during the Civil War, during the Civil War, you are forced to even eat once a day.
Okay, that is if you see.
If you see, actually. But after the war, things came back to normal.
No, why for me, why it's even important now is that if you are sitting down at home and you're not doing it and you are eating 3 times a day, you can imagine what will happen.
The way the fat is not an issue for them, they just, and honest to God, if you're not doing anything and you're indoors for 24, there's a tendency to eat more. So I think that there's also a need that while we're sensitizing people and everything else, there's a need to also reach out to others who say, look, slow down on what you're actually eating. It's very necessary now to get that conversation going.
Beyond eating, beyond talking to people about eating, I saw something on social media and they said, I don't know who did the survey. The condoms and pregnancy testing kits are
selling off the whole
now. Yes.
Now, we also need to tell people, look, the number that we have, we are trying to manage. Please try not to add more.
Pandemic didn't tell you to
more people. More mouths to feed. The ones that we have now is not going. It's not going around everybody.
You give young ladies like I need that advice.
So we need.
You just have to find a way to drag me into this.
Yeah, about young ladies. What about young men?
He's Annie. He wants to tell. Please go.
So we need to begin to think of messages that will actually address the situation that we find ourselves. And for me, yes, post COVID-19, honestly, the world will change. So many things will change.
Yeah.
Our leaders ordinarily, who probably, there's a little problem here, you are running out. This time around, I'm not sure every country will be prepared to open their doors to just allow people run in, just like that.
No, there's a time it will stabilize. Everything would have gone. It certainly must have.
See, the UN has already warned that, look, Nigeria and some African countries, famine.
9 other countries, actually. Make the top 10.
It's going to happen, that one.
So it is, I don't know, government needs to begin to think, and then we, not just government now, engage the churches, engage the mosques, engage the traditional institution. Let this message begin to go down and let people begin to change their lifestyles. If we don't imbibe this, there are very hard times ahead.
You know, when I hear there are hard times ahead, sometimes I just feel like I should find a farm we'll be breaking through people's kitchens just to see what's available to scrap.
What is going on will continue.
Yes.
If it were to continue.
It has started, not even it has started.
In Diobu, exactly the same way you just said it.
And it has started. People are now, in fact, some of my child members were victims recently, but had they entered, they were still sleeping. They entered and casted away everything in the house.
It's the time
and left. They were still sleeping. So the point there is that, in fact, there are two things I'm thinking there. We're in rainy season. We're moving towards rainy season, and agricultural activity is not taking place now. So let the governors.
But why is it not taking place? The people who go to the farms, are they not going to the farms now? Like the ones we have in our villages who go to the farms. Are they restricted from going to the farms?
There's still problem in the bushes. Look at recently, was it last week in Delta State? These herdsmen kidnapped.
So I know we've had that last year, and people still went to the farms. Are we saying that this year nobody's going to the farm at all?
Yeah, you see the coronavirus thing. That's why I said a lot of distraction. It has slowed down a lot of things. This not moving, move, and all those stuff. Do you know that people who are in Borokri area, who also go somewhere like Omagwa, Eche, to get land to farm and all those, are not moving.
Yes, because of the lockdown.
Because of the lockdown. Maybe if you have poultry there, they're not going out again. So all these things could affect a lot of things. So what we are now saying is that, especially in the area of agriculture, now let me use River State as an
Speaking
example.
about how people not go to the farms, when you mentioned this, I remember I spoke to somebody recently, a person is from Ahoda West, I think, and he told me that his community where he's from, people are not going to the farms anymore.
Yes.
And I said, why are they not going? He said, well, bunkering is the new
Exactly.
Means of getting money. So for them, the conversation is why go and spend almost 2 months tilling the soil when in a day, if you allow yourself to be hired for the day, you could make up to 3,000 to 5,000 naira per day. So it's immediate money. Calculate that, and then you'll have to wait for a plant for a crop you've planted maybe 2-3 months ago to start harvesting in the next 5 months, when you can get instant gratification right now. So he said a lot of farms are left, at least for his area, are left fallow. I can imagine if that's his community, it could be happening in some other communities.
So
add that to the fact that you have other communities who are insecure and can't go because they have been attacked previously by herders. And then you have the ones who naturally can't go because, like you mentioned, they have lockdowns and can't move. So there's going to be, if before we had a 60% compliance with farming activities, maybe now we're going to be looking at 30%.
30%. Now, again, government officials, are they not aware of these things? Where are the extension workers who will now be mobilized into the communities to sensitize to using the traditional institutions we have to reach out to the people and also send a kind of incentive to the farmers to move to the farm. You see, this thing, if we don't take time, like what is predicted, it will happen like a bank, and nobody will escape the consequence.
Right.
Both the social upheaval
Okay.
that will
We
generate.
have 15 minutes. We'll just wrap that down and quickly look at something on Real Talk. I'm sorry,
Okay.
because of timing. We have been having conversation on what the NLC said, continuous lockdown. This sort of lockdown will cause social unrest. The governors had said there will be interstate lockdown. So human traffic from state to state is going to be shut down at this period for the next 14 days. They did say only essential services and goods will be allowed within the borders. And then the Minister of Health has also said that going forward, anybody diagnosed with COVID-19 will be treated at the point of diagnosis. So if you're originally from another state, but you were found positive in another, you will remain there to receive treatment. Then we'll move on quickly now to Real Talk. And for Real Talk, the governor of River State has distributed foodstuff to people of Omuma local government area. River State Governor Nyesom Ezenwa-Wike on Wednesday distributed foodstuff to the less privileged people of Omuma local government area. Governor Wike was represented by the chairman of River State Palliatives Committee. Ambassador Desmond. Palliatives Committee has been expanded to include journalists and civil society to address issues of complaints by members of the public. He charged the ward distribution committees to ensure no section of the local government area is left out in the sharing of the palliatives. Governor Wike commended the people of Omuma local government area for cooperating with his administration to ensure that coronavirus is checked in all parts of the state. Paramount ruler of Omuma, Eze Onyekachi Amanwo, said that Governor Wike has always proved himself to be a caring and proactive leader. Member of the State House of Assembly representing Omuma State Constituency, Kelechi Nwogo, said Omuma people are very happy with Governor Wike for reaching out to them as the entire state struggles to defeat coronavirus. Chairman of Omuma local government area, Christian Nwenwu, thanked the governor for his commitment to the welfare and less privileged across the country. Chief Godspower Egbebu of Ward 2 assured that the committees will work towards a diligent distribution of foodstuff provided by the government. Ogechukwu Nicholas of Ward 3 and Chief Wans Nduku of Ward 6, Honorable Obasi Uchechukwu Ward 8, and Nwogu Godfrey of Ward 9 said they would live up to their responsibilities by implementing the directive of the governor. All right, so this is what we're looking at. I remember when we did have a discussion, but not on today's quest, on palliatives being shared using wards. And the response I got on that particular program was, in using words, it would turn political. That there is unfortunately a system that will push that agenda in a political manner. Though the governor has expressly said this is not in any form political, this is for everybody who falls under most underprivileged. Those are the ones who are supposed to be captured by these palliatives. And he says it doesn't matter whether you're an indigene or not, as long as you're in that ward and you are considered somebody who dearly needs this palliatives should get to you. People who said, well, when we do this with ward, I'm already calling out names of certain wards like Nwogu Godfrey. And so if these people from the wards are also party members, as they have stepped out and said, we'll ensure that this will happen, does that mean that they're also going to use the register of party membership to be able to redistribute this to the people within their wards? Is there any form that this might not take the line of politics, Emmanuel?
Well, I think I will doubt that it won't be political. No, it will certainly be. But the problem is that they will not come there and then be calling register of political members, names and all that. No. There's a possibility, a grand possibility that even the party men would have been made and then shared theirs. The way I believe. I'm not saying it's what happens. But once they come, perhaps with the instruction of the governor, because they at least in principle, they've made it clear that it's for all, both those who are politicians and non-politicians. So when they come, it might be that's where you will see it very small in this way. So that if he reaches you one pack of Indomie, you take.
One cup of rice.
Yes, 1 cup of rice you take. I tell you, I always stress on this particular parable that whatever a snake bears must be long. Politicians must always be politicians. You see that as the PDP is in power in Rivers State now, it will go to politicians of
Remember,
PDP
the committee itself is headed by
Politicians.
by a cow who is the PDP chairman.
Yes.
You can't remove that fact. It will go to PDP people, politicians. If it were APC that is in power, the same thing. None of them is better. If you buff them in terms of betting, all of them will just be the same. They'll go back to the way they have.
So
for me, they will indeed give their political members, political party members, and perhaps they'll come out. Because as soon as you attach word, come to word, what are you talking? It has already told you. In fact, those who are non-politicians will be afraid to go to word because they are not known. And in this case, at least to be seen to be fair, they may give their political party members first. At the time no other person knows, and then bring whatever is left and share other ones.
Which is the fear people have.
Yes.
Because like you have Ward 3 or Ward 4 committee members who are speaking, Chief God's Power, Egbego of Ward 2. A lot of people say, well, when he receives the package for Ward 2, he's also going to work with a team he knows.
Of course.
And it might be people of his political comes out from that committee eventually. Is it the entire product or is it going to be halved? If this is half, that means it's going to be members of that political party that will have access to that other half before the rest is sent into that word. This is a possibility. But if we're not using word, what then is there to be used?
You have
I'll
fields,
get to you.
You have fields, you have open places that are known in communities. If you take everything to that place, but like I said,
So you get to Omuma now, you say what? I'm sharing it to this community or
yes,
this.
and they come to this place, center or school or whatever. That COVID stops.
So how do you identify then within that community the poor who are struggling, who need this? If you say come to this community, everybody will be there.
Traditional rulers
Traditional
have
rulers.
been met to be able to point out certain. Everybody is known in the community now.
All right then. Okay, Mano. Obedima.
And everything is laughable. I'm in politics.
Are you in a
And
woman?
I didn't know.
I don't comment the state government and what they are doing and how they are going about it. If they are serious, we have a River State Council of Traditional Rulers. We have groups, both Muslim and Christians, that head them, leaders, even to these world levels. We have Red Cross in this state. These are people that they would have mobilized when they want to start this palliative issue. How to go set kind of committee devoid of any politician, and they know the structure they would have also used right to the world level, the village level, how to get this thing distributed. This thing that the last one they did in Obiakpo here. Let me use my own word. I did investigation. Some people even got 1 carton of Indomie. Why people got a sachet of Indomie?
Sachet.
So the point there is that who is feeling who? If you are voting billions of naira to buy food as palliative for citizens of this state, it don't go through party structure. There are people that can handle this thing. Why chiefs in that village a difficult thing to do? And this thing should be done hustle by hustle. We are now at this studio. We are watching what is going on in CNN there.
Yeah.
How they are. Families give food bank, loading booths of family cars that came for food, and you are now liable to go to their units. Some people will not. Who is even the poor people? They underprivileged. So all these things, mass of politics and what will I even describe it? They are doing nothing. They are siphoning money. They are pocketing money. And what is Indomie going to do for another like me?
Well, give it to your child.
Well, my child is I should die. So, how should I eat?
Aren't you,
Because you
aren't
want
you,
a child.
aren't you a parent?
So the point there is that if government is serious, they know the people they will use for this thing. Not them. They will go to market to buy. They will also distribute this thing.
All right. Okay.
It's unfortunate.
All right, I've got your thoughts there. Let's get to you.
No, this one had a.
Is it?
Really difficult. Like Emma said, politicians will always be politicians. And I honestly think, truly, I wouldn't know why government chose to use politicians to do this. Even if you say word, I should want to think that the councillors should have been, I mean, we're talking about government. So if you want to use government machinery,
Yeah.
then it should have been through the ward, the councillors who are representative of wards. Because the moment governor is elected, he is governor of all. He's no longer governor of PDP, so we expect. And then the assembly member, he also represents a constituency, and so down to the ward level where you have the councillor. Beyond that, if in that case you want to now move it from government own structure, then I think that you should have used it as a community development, and then you have the CDCs are not just even one person. You have the chairman and his own ESCO. They know they know the community so well. They know which families are these individuals that were called down or less privileged, poorest of the poor, as it were, whatever. The people that you want to reach. It's easier with the close working relationship with the councillor. It becomes easy to move it from government down to the community. Then the chiefs in the community with the CDC and the traditional leadership there, it can easily be spread to these people, and then people will have a sense of, okay, yes, it's true. Our government is caring. Representative or party personnel inside, there are people who would never show their face there. There are people, even if they are dying, they won't come out.
All right.
Because for them, this is a party thing. And in the days of political, heaven knows what kind of rivalry they may have gotten. And they have just drawn the line. And that is why you find that it is the reason you find some others, we hear, Amici and his friends coming, doing this outside the government machinery and structure. And so you find that's why the whole thing is not so coordinated. But if you have a system that clearly shows that, look, this is not about party or anything, everybody will probably have the confidence to put it there so that this thing can easily
get
down.
to where it needs to.
So that party thing, that party
Coloration
that they gave to it, it's not, it's worrisome. That's the one that is difficult for me. I don't know how you're going to completely say, "Oh no, this is altruistic. This is not about politics." It's difficult to explain to anybody.
Somebody said,
matter how you
once they
do
just
it.
hear a word, this is happening in word 16. That word you've mentioned just means, okay, who is leading it? They need to hear the name. It's exactly 11 o'clock. We'd like to open the phone lines and get your opinions on the issues we've been talking about all day. We started with that of the lockdown by state governors endorsing an entire lockdown of borders of all the 36 states in the country. They said this will happen for the next 2 weeks. They did say they will allow essential goods and services through the borders, but they're going to ensure that this lockdown is completely done within the next 2 weeks. They say this is to stall the spread of the virus from one state to another. Part of, for me, the issues arising from that is why now? I mean, immediately we heard it was in one state in Nigeria. We should have started enforcing that so we can narrow it down to one particular place and drive all our resources there. But of course, as is with Nigeria, we take our time slowly for certain issues like this. Now we have it in pretty much 26 states of the federation, and most likely moving to the entire 36. As long as more testings will be done, we'll find more cases. I mean, just yesterday, Adamawa recorded her first case. I think I also read now somewhere that Oyo has recorded her own case too. Oyo has. There's a case I just read. Okay, no, they've discharged their someone has been discharged from Oyo. All right, so we spoke on that. What do you think about governors who have said this is what we'll do? We'll lock down all our borders.
You even started with the chief executive himself.
I remember. Then we also did read about the NLC who said, well, there will be a rise in social crime if this lockdown continues for the next 2 weeks. And we would like to get your views on that. They said palliatives are not palliatives. They're not getting to who it ought to get to. And what is even getting to some people can be considered palliatives. So we've, tried to rationalize this. So if we don't do a lockdown, what do? We can't pretty much allow the pandemic to spread worse than it is now, because what we will have on our hands if the pandemic were to get any worse is a major crisis. So in striking out the balance, are we looking at a hunger crisis or a pandemic? Which one do we think we can manage and manipulate and sustain for at least the time being? I think that should be the question on the lips of our leaders. Then we did mention the fact that Dr. Henare, Minister for Health, mentioned the fact that if you are discovered to be COVID-19 positive in any state, you shall remain in that state for treatment. You won't be transported to your state of origin. And they say they're doing this to also check the spread of the virus. The only reason why that might change is if there are other underlying medical issues that will warrant you to be moved from one state to another. Aside that, you will remain where you are. Doesn't matter like how the former chief of staff, the late chief of staff, decided to leave Abuja to go down to Lagos. Maybe because he had underlying health issues, I don't know. But what they're trying to say is if you're found to be COVID-19 positive in Abuja, you shall remain there and receive your medication. I'd like to get your thoughts on that. And finally, on Real Talk, we looked at the governor's palliative measures in place in Omuma. It was headed by the committee set up for that, and that's done by Akao. He was there in Omuma to deliver the palliatives for the people of Omuma, and we understood that this was also done by wards. General conversation around that is once you hear wards and you find who the chairman of the committee is and who other people who popped up for the redistribution are, they does seem to fall along party lines, that this obviously is going to cover just for party people. What happens to other people within that community who are not of that party? And indeed, this can be distributed without considering party lines. The governor has insisted that this shall not be done along party lines, and it shall not be done along indigenous only lines. Whether this will be obtainable when we get to the ground, it's a different scenario altogether. So the conversation is, what better means should we have distributed of these palliatives if we can't go through wards? What will the people generally accept? So this is it. Send us your thoughts to 07019339962. Those numbers are for the WhatsApp platform and the text message portal 08 951 9510951 or 0817 Those are the numbers for our text message portal. Would like to hear from you. Let me quickly get to the lines today, and I'll be reading the text message in just a moment. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Hello, Today 95.1 FM.
Anne, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is AB, calling you from Port Harcourt.
All right, AB, go ahead.
Anne is really worrisome at this point in time. Very, very, very worrisome. It's really turning on us, especially family with 5, 6, 7, and nothing is coming in, week out. Have you seen the importance of good leaders? It's now playing out. People are claiming, our leaders are claiming they have certificates. Now we really need that impact of the certificate to play out at this point in time. We have lost it all. We don't have a leaders that are articulated at this point in time when they would have planned ahead. You say you have failed to plan. You already planned to fail. Look at Nigeria. We are claiming a giant of Africa. Ordinary pandemic of this type, we can't take care of your citizens. Look at governors are now waking up. In short time, this should have been curtailed, but they are playing politics with it. But not everything is politics. Now they have seen the effect of it, right? This is the time they want to close borders when they would have done it early before now, so that this thing will not escalate like this. My dear, this is time. If Nigeria really needs to be one, this is the time to look at leaders who know what they are doing. Leaders who have people on heart, not leaders who claim to love us and why the idea is for the interest of their family and looting our money abroad. I wish this COVID-19 will stay the 2 years so that they will not travel out. They will see the pain that Nigerians are passing through all these years.
All right, we got your thoughts there. Thank you. Hello,
Simon?
Today 95.1 FM. All right, 0810. Our Twitter handle is at Today FM 951. At Today FM 951 on Facebook. We're Today 95.1 FM. Do send us your messages to on Facebook. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Mr. Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Rumukurisi.
Good to have you, Mr. Emmanuel. Go ahead.
Yes, my own solution is as it stands now, everybody's less privileged. Everybody's broke. Nobody's on. So giving this food to less privileged and those who think that they are poor and others. While those as I'm talking now, nobody's rich. Everybody's broke. So I suggest that if government will share money, even this is 1 naira, let it go around. Or if they're sharing food, they should not be selective. Let them share the food to everybody. Because that's everybody's hungry. That's my uncle.
All right, then everybody falls on the less privileged, according to him. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Tamuna.
Tamuna, where are you calling from?
I am calling from Okrika right now.
From Okrika. All right, Tamuna, good to have you. Go ahead.
Okay, so my issue here is I feel that the meeting between the governors was unproductive. It was a meeting in futility. Because here's the thing, I'm so surprised that governors who are supposed to surround themselves with professionals, supposed to surround themselves with people who are experts in different fields, are going about, I don't think they are thinking properly before they select their aide. Right now, I remember when Governor Winke said, we need the same 10 billion that was given to Lagos. People didn't really understand that. And he made a very critical statement. He said, do you expect when we have 5 million cases before we get prepared? I expected that the governors will come and have a meeting and say, we are having an increasing cases in our states. Do we wait till we are overwhelmed before we start having test centers, isolation centers, before we start training doctors and professionals in using ventilators and the rest of them, before we start buying testing kits? They are not planning ahead. You're closing the border, yes, but closing the border is akin to a house is burning and you select a room and say, let's go into this room and lock ourselves in. That's the very big problem. You don't check the water system to say, let's put out the fire. But you're busy trying to secure yourself. So we lock ourselves in. Yes, that is very, very good. But what if the cases now become overwhelming? Then do we have the test kits? Do we have the laboratories, level 2 laboratories? Do you know that the only level 3 laboratory in Nigeria is in Lagos and was built by Lagos and Canada? And I think it was earlier this year they built that. So we are not making any proactive efforts to mitigate this. What I really think we should do, and that's something I'm concerned about. We are having a lot of test cases that are saying positive, and we're having a lot of people saying we are treated. So Nigeria is doing a lot of treatment, and we are very successful with this treatment. And I want to know, I know that Spain, Italy, Czech Republic, and some of the Scandinavian nations returned test kits from China because they were defaulted. And I want to know, Nigeria were using Chinese-made test kits. Are we sure that these test kits are not faulty?
All right, then.
That's one thing we have to be asking. So there is a lot of things surrounding this apart from palliative. I don't care about palliative.
All right.
Palliative, food or money is not our issue. Our issue is let's do the right
thing. Okay, then. Thank you very much for your contribution this morning. Then also on YouTube, you can watch us on YouTube. Our channel is Today95.1 FM on YouTube. Please click on the live button. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button so you can catch us up every time on YouTube. Hello, Today95.1 FM.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm coming from Port Harcourt.
All right, go ahead.
My concern is on distribution of palliative.
Okay.
They should use the style of health workers that inoculate children. There is no compound in Port Harcourt or in the village that they will not enter.
Where are you calling from?
And I want to plead that to kill us, because that would be news. And then another thing is that if you ask people to limit how they eat a day, I want to tell you, if somebody be at home food day, you know that when you're at home, you eat much, you cannot control. Then another thing, like as I am now, I came back from hospital with my daughter, 1 year old daughter. And this daughter eat every 1 hour. He finished 1 piece of milk 2 days. That is the advice from doctor. And anytime he have this hunger, you don't give it, the guy will run mad. This is a child that was in coma for 3 weeks and they come back for 2 months. Then what am I going to do? If you lock me down, there's nothing for me to decide what will happen. So the issue is that while we are talking, we don't know what people are passing through in their home. And before now, people that are planning, let me say cassava and this, they have uprooted cassava. Every farm this thing have been sold out because of the initial time they were locked down. They were making sure that as if everyone want to come down. Everybody have rushed and sell their product. Then where this product when we are talking about agriculture. So it's not all about this Indomie palliative that we don't even know how it come about. They should look very well. If not, the hunger will be worse than.
All right, we got your thoughts on that. You said it's better the pandemic than hunger. And indeed, everybody has their unique challenges and issues that they're going through. But sometimes in cases like this, they say for the greater good. That's why we need to take certain steps. Everybody might be going through certain challenges, but what do we do for the greater good? Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Hello, Annie, and good morning.
Good morning, Gift. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Chris. Chris, I'm calling.
Chris. Thank you. Sounded so much like Gift. Go ahead.
Yeah. In as much as I congratulate Governor on what he has been doing concerning the palliative. I only hear it on radio. When during election time, I saw people voting live. But this time of palliative now, I went to the polling unit. Maybe let me see if they are sharing the way we voted last time, 2019. Don't see anybody there. So where are they sharing the palliative? And let me tell anybody that are coming here on news now, they say they are coming house to house to sensitize person, this and that, or injection, this. if you are coming to my house, make sure you come with food. Though. Don't come to eat the big drama. For me, think that the word of encouragement.
All right, then. Okay.
It will not work.
All right.
I'm hungry. Bring food for me.
Okay, I got you. Don't come to his house unless you're bringing food. That's what he's saying. Well, good morning. I humbly request the federal government to continue to close our borders, both water and air, with other countries. Secondly, people should be allowed to move around wearing their nose masks. Anyone who doesn't wear this when moving around should be arrested immediately. The interstate border closure should be lifted. If the above steps are not allowed, the masses will not obey the lockdown because of hunger. This will make people to stop asking for palliative measures. This is from Andy in Ubima, River State. He said, even those that can't afford the nose masks should please use handkerchiefs. Fine John said, on what basis did the so-called Governors Forum agree to lock down all the states? The state borders is what they're talking about. When they are supposed to lock down the airports to forestall the importation of COVID-19, they were sleeping. After the entrance of the virus, suddenly they wake up from slumber to punish the masses by locking the markets and the masses indoors without means for people to eat. Since they use state funds to stockpile food markets for themselves, are the masses not humans? We also have here, good morning, Annie. Federal government saying COVID-19 patients will be boxed in their states is the most insensitive thing to say when it is clear that many of the states have no facilities to treat patients. Diog Emeka from Aba. And Honorable Dupre Robert Abonema, York City, you said, Annie, this issue of treating COVID-19 patients in their contraction state isn't a well thought out decision. I think the states and the NCDC should better equip the sub-national isolation centers. However, descriptive or strategic decision thinking should override noting the orientation of the patient. Is the situation mild, moderate, or severe? If the case is severe, under a less equipped facility, the infected person should be moved to a better one, wherever the state is. Strongly avoiding the consequential damage. The pandemic is a national problem. God help us. I think that's why they put that caveat if there's underlying medical issues. Yeah, I think that is what will instruct them. But generally, the idea is if you are found with COVID-19 here, regardless where your state of origin, it could be that you came in for a quick business trip here and then you got sick and then you find that the person, this is where you remain. Nobody's going to return you to the state where you came from. I think that's what they're trying to say.
That's what they're saying.
But if there are underlying issues, maybe there's a particular treatment you were receiving in a particular hospital before and this happened while you're in another state, this might compel them to return you to your state of origin. I think that is what they mean by that caveat they put in there. Good morning, Annie, and to your guests. Please don't always say headers, but gunmen in your narrative because of recent testimonies. Thank you, J.A. Stevenson from Port Harcourt. But you see, the gunmen could be herders. Gunmen could be anybody at all. And for some of the cases where we've had access, particularly in River State, where some of the farmers had to leave the farm, it was because they had issues with herders.
Herders, not gunmen.
Not gunmen. They had herders.
Who had guns.
Well, the herders that they had problems, they had guns. But they were herders.
In fact, they're double. Herders are gunmen because they have guns.
From Wilson in Berkeley, he says, good morning, Annie and the guests in the studio. This third incident case scenario in River State, to me, I'm afraid, the virus has spread around the state. Government should please do well to mention the name and location of the hotel so that we should know how to move around that area. No point keeping it secret because many people will still pass that area and get infected, which I think is true.
Yes.
I think it's very important.
In our vast country, they make this in so
that is important so that people who have even been there before can avail themselves for treatment. So you make that statement, but they said they're doing tracking. They're doing tracking already. So maybe they're going to register or something. But I think it's also fair that once you're making that public statement, you're also mentioning the name of that facility. And then you're saying if you have been there or you know anyone who is working there and has come to visit you in recent times, you're open to the virus. So you should avail yourself for testing. I think that would be a smarter thing to do. This is here, locking down states by governors forum is not the problem, but I hope they're strategizing to make the state move forward when the lockdown is over, because I believe the Western world is going to come up with new ideas to balance the ease of doing business. African leaders should not just do follow. Kingsley, you send that from Irete. Another here says, good morning, Annie and your guest in the studio. I am producing 1 million free face masks. House of B Pearl is a citadel of fashion in Port Harcourt, owned by a young entrepreneur, Barely Hope Anele. And you said you're supporting the government in this war against the spread of the pandemic in the state by providing free face masks. You said 5 million. You say your aim is to ensure that all River State residents have face masks. All right. You intend to put on your number, and I'm going to call it. I'm going to call your number.
That's good.
And so that people who need face masks can call you up and collect it. And if you ask them for money, they'll also call the studio and let me know that you're asking for money and that you lied. So I do hope that Barile and Nele 016086 Barile Hope Anele from Port Harcourt. You said you're giving 5 million, and this is to help River State residents have face masks. Nele, I do hope that other people will take cue. I hear the governors want to ensure total lockdown in all states. I laugh because it's an avenue for not well organized, looking at the way committees going about its activities. Even as the governor said, it should be distributed to everybody regardless any party. Human beings, being the way they are, they will still fail in the distribution. Let these palliatives be shared to families and not individuals. The closing of border now is too late, but well, let them try. This is from Emmanuel. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Good morning, Annie, and the guests in the studio.
Good morning. What's your name?
Ed Allison, calling from Europe in Port Harcourt, Gambia, precisely, where we are in lockdown.
Okay, go ahead. Let's hear your story.
Annie, what I want to suggest is that you don't just keep people indoors without anything. Now, the 36 state governors have go to and agreed. They have went into meeting and agreed. We will stay indoors. No.
And leave to Bielsa.
But so I don't know where they are locking, and I don't know how they are locking the borders. But if that being the case, you and once upon a time, President, when you go into a meeting, everybody locked down, no nothing. How can people say with hunger and survive? Don't you think that this hunger will keep people even more than the virus? What sense do you make? Locking down, everybody's locking down. In a advanced world that was locked down, was they not giving them something to hold on their own? Let us say the time they will allow them to market and buy whatever they want and lock up again. In the state here, let them open market for 2 days. Let people go and restock again before we enter into this new 2 weeks. That will be tough because now you're talking about the whole federation. It's no longer about the River State issue. We have some food will be in the border waiting to enter inside. Please let them help the poor families. Poor people. We are poor friends.
All right, then we got your thoughts. There. Thank you. Annie, you asked pandemic or palliatives. For me, at the level of this disease spread, it cannot be contained, blocking the borders for just 14 days alone. What people need now is palliatives and then provision of protective equipment. Tony in Ahoda, you sent that in. And this lockdown is a time bomb and ticking, and the time is ticking. By the time when people cannot be able to endure the lockdown, security will empty their armory. Yet they may not be able to control the anger and hunger of men. Instead of our government to deploy all energy and resources to the cure, we are embarking on lockdown, testing, wearing face and nose masks and sharing noodles. The day COVID-19 gets the cure, that is the end of the pandemic, and any country that finds it hit the boom. Therefore, let's think inwards now. This is from Esther. I remember earlier on, Emmanuel, who was it that said they found something on coronavirus? Somebody from Nigeria. All right.
Prophecy.
We haven't had much from that after then.
Yes, it's still undergoing.
Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Wilcox. I'm calling from Woodley.
All right, good to have you. Go ahead.
I think this corona thing is a very serious thing, and we in River State are not taking it too seriously. If you listen to Bill Gates said something about in-house smoke. And remember, we have been inhaling these carbon monoxide, these black suits for a very, very long time. So I think it's going to hit really hard, and we are peculiar state. So whoever is responsible, whether the police, whether it's the governor, I don't know what they're doing, they should shut this down and see how they can create policy and things for them to survive. And speaking of, please,
try and get the farms ready so that in the next 1 year we know what we're doing. Thank you.
All right then, for your thoughts. Good morning, Annie, Iman, others in the studio. I'm Nonyet from Umoba in Omoma local government area. Annie, I commend the governor for the palliatives given to the less privileged in my city, also to come in and assist my people. Let them stop donating to government and donate directly to the people. Because government itself has the capacity through BVN, even if it doesn't get to everyone, but it will encourage everyone to open a bank account in the future, and it's going to be more transparent than the audio palliatives we've been hearing. Kingsley from Rayte sent that in. Good morning. Well, that is for money. What is when they're sending you, food items, noodles. Good morning, Annie. This says brilliant analysis from the Arizona Hawk, aka Obidima. Lately, Obidima is becoming a global symbol of excellence, devotion, and drive. Lastly, Annie, I'm vulnerable at the moment. I need palliatives from you. No, I think you need palliatives from the global symbol of excellence. He has devotion and he's driven.
We are partners.
So, we're not partners.
Partners.
Hand you over to this man. Hello, Today95.1 FM. Good morning.
Madam, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Simon from Rumwood, Maya.
Simon, go ahead.
Thank you. First of all, I want to commend Obidema for his unbiased. In fact, today is the best day.
The best day, yeah, I know.
Then I want to say something. Some other callers, my brother, have said it all. But what I want to say, because of this, they are sharing of a thing. I know maybe some people will say, but there is a group or a society in one church that I know that they call the St. Vincent de Paul. This is the people that have been reaching out to people for this kind of thing, reaching out both members and non-members of the church. I mean the Catholic Church, St. Vincent de Paul. If they can carry all those food stuff, call those people who will the parities and everything, I will tell you they will get up to 70 to 80% of the end getting it. Than giving it to people. Governor will give this thing to people. Governor will release it. But the people that they give this thing to share, we carry it and keep inside their house or share to their few of their friends and eat other ones. At the end of the day, the main people that they release this thing for, none of them will get it. So at least some of them know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The society that which many of us know them.
Right.
They will get up pushing 90-95% of the end.
We got your thoughts there. Thank you so much. Annie, please, you people should stop this thing. The people of River State is under siege. Governor Wike should understand that they are poor people. He asked their votes from his sheer wickedness to these poor people. Evangelist Prince Lawson, you send this in. Good morning to you all. For the palliatives, there is no sense of seriousness. 1 packet of Indomie and 2 cups of rice is a joke. Even for Obidima not to support his party on the palliative means he is a statesman. Leziga from Alu, you send that in. And this is, if you follow my comments, I've been on the side of the governor concerning steps he has taken in this COVID-19 era. But on this palliative issue, I disagree completely with the governor. His actions in this is very wrong. And sorry to say, he said his committee to be fair and objective, but that's just talk, and talk is cheap. I even prefer through BVN. You send us 1,000 naira each than this so-called distribution. The governor needs to consult widely and get this right. Bob, you send that in from Port. Good morning. The palliatives can't get to everybody. They should pay us. Please help me advertise my business. Emmanuel from Choba. Annie, good morning. Our government are not serious. They know how many communities in the state they're supposed to share the palliative support to the communities, so that the chiefs and the CDC leaders can identify the poor in their communities and share the goods to them. Uba, you send this from Meneka. Good morning, Annie and the guests in the studio. Please, whilst the lockdown lasts, River State government should open the bars. Drink away your sorrow and contract coronavirus, right? Kano in Port Harcourt says, Andy, Labour is on point and Obidima is also apt on how the palliative should be handled. On the governor's position, their position is regrettable. How do we feed? And this says, my name is Harry Dollar from Choba. Governors agreeing to shut down the state is a good idea, but is there any measure put in place for those living in each state? If not, this will spike up another surge of insecurity, because when a man is hungry, he will be angry, and an angry man easily commits crimes. My advice is to let all the governors make sure that the stimulus packages gets to all that needs it, putting aside party lines. Annie, Open markets and shops are locked down, but Market Square is open. I need an explanation. Bright Uche, you send that from a chair. Good morning, Annie. Please let the palliatives pass through churches and mosques to reach the less privileged. All right. He said, please give recharge card as palliatives to listeners too. Okay. We'll do our share, don't worry. Good morning, all in the studio. Gift and Yang from a chair. He says, it's pained me to see that the governor has turned a deaf ear to my sincere advice. Where on earth have you seen a task force manning the border? Is the governor running out of wisdom? I believe we're not in an animal kingdom. It's untrustworthy while adding salt to injury. I know the governor... you should stop hatching conspiracy. I'm on the verge of tears for my dear state. Gift and you send that for me, Che. Why are African leaders so wicked? EU, stop sending money to our wicked politicians. Give the poor directly through the bank. Good morning, Annie and the crew. The only way to get right in terms of palliatives is to use voters register. Take it to CBN, identify the BVN, and credit them with agreed amount, then sharing one packet of Indomies as palliatives. This is from Adi Samuel. Good morning. Please, about the lockdown, can we still move within the state? In certain areas, you're allowed to move. Certain areas in the state, you're not allowed to move. But even in the places where you're allowed to move, you're considered to... It must be something, why, I guess, how will I say it? Essential services. And then there also, if there's a need for you to go to where you're going to, if there's really no need, I think the advice, it is not a force, the advice is that you don't have to go there. But where there's a complete lockdown, like areas like Dube and all that, it's locked down. You have to stay in your homes. But if you're not within those regions, yes, you're allowed to move, but you're advised that if it's not utterly necessary, you don't move around. We'll take one last call. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Kingsley Onwuka.
Kingsley, good to have you. You're the last caller. Go ahead.
Okay, Annie, the interstate lockdown is a very good step in my opinion. Necessary and imperative. My concern about the interstate lockdown is for the governors to be sure that the lockdown is well enforced, to ensure that it really works. So that they don't end up creating unnecessary hardship for
the people.
My concern. Thank
All
you.
right, Kingsley, thanks. Good morning. Rumosi Chief has shared the first palliatives without considering the non-indigents. Charles, you sent that from Rumosi. Annie, I have a friend who left Port Harcourt for Lagos 2 days ago amid this coronavirus pandemic and all the roadblocks. And I've been thinking, which is the bigger virus, corona or hunger? Joe, you sent this from Mboba. Good morning, everyone. Ima and Obedima, good morning. So, and thank you for being objective today. Rivers government should use the pattern of Enugu State, where traditional rulers and CDC leaders are the ones handed over any palliative. Thanks. I am Chris Ituma from Ada George. All right. Thank you very much for everybody else who was part of the show. We've got to go. Obedima.
Yes, beyond all that we have discussed here, let also the state governors in their decision, in their conferencing, also fund their medical faculties in their state universities, the pharmaceutical faculties in their state universities, to begin to see how they can produce vaccine with what others are doing in other countries. Our universities are neglected and not carried along in all this noise making they're making
the universities
everywhere. Yes.
But they said they're not calling back their strike now. They've paid them. They said even that, regardless of payment, we're not coming back.
No. I'm talking of even the state universities.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking of even the state universities. Can't they fund them? Let them go into research. Who knows? Who
will discover it first?
Yes.
All right. Obedima JP, journalist and international affairs analyst. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This here says, for the caller that is saying we're using Chinese text kits, that is not true. Nigeria is using United Nations molecular test kits. That is why we don't have it in every state of the Federation. This was sent in by John. John is the one yesterday who said the topic is not interesting. Leave Abba Carrier, remember. All right then. Opaka Dokubo.
Yeah, I think our leaders should also begin to think that what is good for them should be good for everybody else. Each time you see them on TV, they're always on nose masks and they're well kitted. Why not make
That's
that
the masquerade I'm
available
talking
so you don't protect yourself and leave everybody else?
Carry everybody along.
So that's why I think they should follow the Ayade example. Since it thinks it's okay for him, and he produced for everybody else. So let everybody
Let's get that at least.
begin into it's important at this time. With that, you'll be able to engage in some other activities. I mean,
Pakadokabo, former chairman, and UJ River State, thank you so much. Finally, from Justice in Chobai says, good morning all. The governors agreed on 2 weeks lockdown. This is coming a bit late. But however, with palliatives put in place, it is better late than never. It is high time the president should come out to give clear and decisive leadership in these trying times. Justice from Choba. Emmanuel.
Well, I certainly believe that what NLC has said is a warning to government. If they want to take it very seriously, let them start off now, because there's a system you will lock very tight without entering, and it will burst, and the burst will be too much.
That's it. As well, we wrap up. Join us tomorrow. We'll be here on another edition, but today's quest wraps up here. Entertainment Express is next.
Wake up. It's a lovely day out there.
You've been listening to today's quest here on Today 95.1.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Join us next time, weekdays from 6 to 11 a.m. on Today 95.1.
Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
You got a fetish for my love. Been waiting for a lifetime for you.
Listen to Entertainment Today
every weekday
at 11:30 a.m.
And I'm so I don't even mind over my loving you.
Every weekday
at 11:30 a.m.
Only on Today 95.1 FM.
Voice of the people.
Your time is up, my time is now. You can't see me, my time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now. You can't see me, my time is now. In case you forgot or fell off, I'm still hot, knock your shell off. My money stacked fat, plus I can't turn the swell off. The franchise doing big business, I live this, it's automatic, I win this. So you hear those horns, you finish. A soldier, and I stay under you fighting. Plus I'm storming on you chumps like I'm thunder and lightning. Ain't no way you breaking me, kid, I'm harder than nails. Plus I keep it on lock like I'm part of the jail. I'm slaughtering stale competition. I got the whole block wishing they could run with my division, but they gone fishing with no bait. Kid, your boy hold weight. I got my soul straight. I brush your mouth like Colgate. In any weather, I'm never better. Your boy's so hot, you never catch me in the next man's sweater. If they hate, let them hate. I drop your whole clan. Lay out down for the 3 second tan. Your time is up, my time is now. You can't see me, my time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now. You can't see me, my time is now.
It's gon' be what it's gon' be. 5 pounds of courage, buddy, base, 10 pants with a gold tee. It's a war dance, a victory step.
Hey. Why are you laughing?
Because when I first heard that, man.
Where did your mind go to?
When I heard that, I thought it was
the
a
lion.
I thought it was the lion himself.
Then Daboski.
I thought it was Mr. Jane Jealous. Honestly,
oh my God.
Like, the thing that's like
he literally took the fame
the
of
whole
the song
fame and turned it to like his trademark song. You understand? Like, man, this time I was like, Odumeje.
No. It's not. Today is
Jane
John
Jealous.
Cena's birthday, so I had to play that for him.
Happy birthday, John Cena.
John
by the way.
Cena.
My man.
Legendary,
man.
legendary.
It was such a real model to me and my
To
brother.
so many people, including
Because
the
me and my
lion.
brother would fight, and including the lion. I mean, like me and my brother would fight on the bed and break the bed, and my dad would come and beat us and stuff. And it was just, man, it was amazing.
Okay, on that funny note, I want to welcome you to today's show, Entertainment Today, on your premium talk news and sports radio station,
Right.
Today 95.1 FM. And I'm your favorite guy on radio, Dave.
My name is Bolo Atife Balogun of Port Harcourt. And you're welcome to the show, all right? That was a song by John Cena himself,
Yes,
actually.
and-
People don't know that
Yes.
John Cena sang that song himself.
And it featured this guy's called The Trademark. It's their
Yeah,
name.
The
It's actually a
Trademark.
song, not
It's
not,
a song,
not a
like-
skit.
Most people would think that song was for Odumeje, the lion himself, all right? But no, it was John Cena's song. John Cena is
Yeah.
a wrestler. If you don't know this, you were born 2000
And no.
and 12 or 2020.
Definitely. Did you know he was working as a chauffeur before he started wrestling?
Oh, are you serious?
Yes,
So,
and-
so it's probably like a really good driver.
Yes, and he was also a bodybuilder.
Obviously.
And then he got into
Yeah.
acting. And he did so
really
many
good actor,
nice
by the way.
movies.
Really
yes.
good actor. Like he has done so. Have you seen the movie Blockers?
Mhm.
That movie is
And
funny, and he's
The
a really
Freaky
funny-
Parents.
Yeah, Freaky Parents. Like he's really funny, right? Like
Yes.
he has this way of acting, and I really loved this.
I think
man.
it's a new thing. It's a trend right now for people in WWE.
I mean, like they act normally, so
Yes.
they would make good actors of the whole drama.
And we never knew that they were acting.
Yeah, this thing you just said is
They
heartbreaking
scammed
for
us.
me. Like they scammed me. I thought Undertaker and Kane, was his name Kane, were brothers.
And they-
Undertaker and
they
Kane.
were
and
like
the
this-
emotions and everything. I thought everything was real. I thought wrestling was real. Like I said earlier, me and my brother would always break the bed. We injured ourselves.
Do you imagine
we
that?
wounded each other because of wrestling. And my dad loved wrestling, all right? But my
Okay.
dad would get so pissed at the fact that we were trying to, imitate them and do the same things they were doing. We saw them do on the screen. You know? I know they will always tell you, don't try this at
Don't
home,
try, but we
school,
tried
or
it.
anywhere,
In
but
fact, we did more than.
Nigerian
Okay, since
children.
it's a throwback Thursday, let's just put it out there now. Who
Who's
was your
favorite wrestler? Who was your favorite wrestler?
No. What's his
I
name?
have like three. I can't choose one.
Rey
I'm sorry.
Mysterio.
I have to choose like three.
Rey Mysterio.
Mysterio has to be there, man. 619. Who doesn't remember 619?
My God.
Like, Rey Mysterio has to be there. John Cena himself has to be
Undertaker.
there. Undertaker
You-
has to be there.
Can we
Chop
chop
the
knuckles from far?
Okay,
just,
physical
yeah,
distancing.
yeah.
Chop the knuckle in your mind. Chop the knuckle in your mind, my brother.
Oh my God! It's a throwback Thursday. It's a movie Thursday, and also it's. It's our show where we get to talk about all the latest juicy gossip and gist in the world of entertainment. Okay,
Definitely.
so about what we asked you, let us
Right.
know who was your favorite wrestler back in the day. Okay, mine was Rey Mysterio. The numbers to call, let us know 0817-000-0951 or 0810-951-0951.
Dude, do you remember Yokozuna? Just before you continue, Yokozuna was this big. I think it was Japanese or
I think it was Japanese.
Taiwan.
Yes.
No, it wasn't really. Was it Japanese?
I think it
can't
was.
remember.
I think it was
But it
Japanese.
was really big, and then his knockout style was to sit on your face. Like he has this.
That guy was
really
the definition
big,
of what people would become after the quarantine.
Dude looked like a Suma. You know, is it Suma, that wrestling where two people just.
Yeah.
I can't remember. All right, but
Also, today is William Shakespeare's birthday.
whoa, William Shakespeare. I mean, poets and people that write poems would just be agog about this. I mean, like Wolf Wilson would probably be talking about this right now. I tell you, he'll probably be all up on this. Like,
Yeah.
William Shakespeare.
Let's pick this call quickly. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, morning.
Hello,
This
yeah,
is,
good morning.
Mr. Foster.
All right,
Calling
Mr. Prosper.
from, Nawa.
Okay, coming from Noah. Mr. Prosper, you're welcome. Powerfully.
Thank you very much.
All right, so who was your favorite wrestler back in the day? For
My
you,
favorite wrestler back in the days was Ultimate Warrior.
Ultimate Warrior. I can't even remember who was.
You go way
was.
back, man.
Like that was way back.
Way back. Maybe we were not born there. Maybe we were not born there.
Oh, my life. Oh my God. All right.
Warrior.
Okay. Ultimate Warrior. All right. Thank you for calling.
Ultimate Warrior. I have JD Snake Robot.
Yeah. Oh, really? Man, I feel young right now. But thank you for calling.
You normally come into wrestling with a python.
With a python? Are you serious? Like,
that was creepy, man.
No. That was really creepy. Like, all right, thank you for calling.
You were not born then.
Oh, you just
thank you
have to say
very
that
much.
on air. All right, but thank you. All right, like that was amazing.
Oh
Just
my
come
God.
to stage with the
I
python.
know this guy, Booker T. Is it Booker T or
Booker T was the black. Booker T. Oh, Boogeyman.
Boogeyman. The guy who
used
ate
to-
worms.
Yeah,
Yes.
he ate worms.
Yes.
Like, creepy people all over.
Hello.
Man.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's up? What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Michael. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, Michael. You're welcome. So tell us your favorite wrestler back in the day.
Back in the day, actually I have a couple.
Okay. Yeah, you can mention.
I have Superfly Sanuka.
Superfly Sanuka. Oh, I think one Japanese guy like that. Abi? Mike, correct?
No, I'm American.
American. Okay. Who else?
Then I have Bulldog Brown.
Bulldog.
These names I'm hearing.
I don't know these names.
Then I have Sanuka.
Sanuka. I think I've heard that one before. All right. Thank you for calling.
Thank you for calling.
Like Dave, I feel young.
I feel very young right now.
And I'm not young. I know I'm not young, all right? But I feel young.
Hello.
These names, I haven't heard them before.
Hello, Today 95.1 FM.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Mayor.
Okay, Mayo. You're calling from where?
Port Harcourt.
Okay, let's know.
Okay, my favorite wrestler back in those days. I have 3 of them.
Okay.
Number 1 is Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels.
In our generation. Thank you very much for mentioning that name.
Okay, which other one?
Exactly. And another one is Undertaker too.
Okay.
Another person again is Edge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you remember any of Shawn Michaels' finishing moves?
Shawn Michaels really used to fly.
I can't.
I think it was called the Spare. The Spare.
No, the Spare was for Edge.
Oh, that was Edge.
That was Edge.
Oh.
Edge was the Spare. Don't mix them up. Shawn
Hello.
Michaels was way back. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
To you.
My favorite band.
Your name first.
My name is Francis.
All right,
Okay.
Francis, you're welcome.
Yeah. My favorite band was Superfly Sanuka.
Superfly Sanuka. Another
like the
person
way
has
he-
mentioned.
The way he flies from anywhere to everywhere.
Are you trying
From
are you
Lagos
trying
to
to
Abuja.
are you trying to say that he imitated or Rey
Shawn
Mysterio
Michaels- yeah, Rey
imitated
Mysterio
the style from
imitated
him?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't get that.
Are you trying to say that Rey Mysterio imitated his styles from him?
Yes. He was the initiator of that flying.
Oh,
he
flying.
flies
Oh,
like
really?
a frog.
Really? Wow. All right. Thank you for
And
calling.
this other one, Mr. Perfect.
Mr. Perfect.
Mr. Perfect.
Mm.
Yes. Each
Never
time they are
heard that before.
fighting this ring fight that you have to hit somebody out of the ring.
Royal Rumble.
He has a way of tricking people. If you want to throw him out, he will come in through under the ring.
Wow.
The ring, yeah.
Wow.
Very perfect
He's
way.
very smart. He's very smart. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for
Thank
calling.
you so
I
much.
feel like after now, I'll just go to YouTube to
Check out
some
these
of all
guys,
these
right?
guys, honestly.
Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What's your name and where you calling from?
My name is Oscar.
All right,
Okay, welcome,
you're
Oscar.
You're welcome. So
Thank
speak
you.
to us now. Talk to us.
I know that name.
And Mighty Eagle.
Mighty Eagle.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Mighty
Thank
Eagle.
you.
Wow. Thank you so
for
much.
calling, all right? Like,
Okay.
many of the names I don't know.
Okay.
Number 2 thing I've noticed, like,
Neil.
is it that females don't watch wrestling?
They do. They actually do. Yes. Yes. Hello. Hello.
Hello, is this 95.1?
Yes, it is 95.1 FM.
Okay, my name is Christian. I'm calling from Element.
Okay,
All right,
welcome to the
Christian.
show. Tell us
Welcome.
your favorite throwback wrestler.
Okay, my best wrestler is Dwayne Johnson. That's The Rock.
Oh, yes. The Rock.
The Rock. I'm also a big fan of John Cena.
John Cena.
he doesn't give up easily.
Yeah, John Cena never gives
Nobody
up.
has mentioned Kane. Nobody has mentioned.
Why would anybody like Kane? I mean, no, Kane was okay, but like,
Forget about King. Forget about King.
Do you think he was
Talking about wrestling, you talk about John Cena, you talk about The Rock, Batista, then I was also a big fan. Big Generation X, that's
Edge.
Triple H.
Yeah.
Triple H.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so
for calling.
much. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, my name is Tony. I want to make a noise. Can you remember that noise?
Okay, just
Wait,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Let's see if we
Let
can
us hear
remember.
I can't remember that noise.
The Metro Boy Ric Flair.
Ric Flair.
Ric Flair, yes. Ric Flair. Oh my.
Are you serious?
Ric Flair is such a legend.
Can't forget that.
All
There
right,
is a
well.
name I'm waiting to hear, and I've not heard that. Don't mention that name, Bolo.
Okay, all
Thank
right.
you so much. There is a name I'm waiting to hear. Like, if you say the new school, he was in the old school and he sort of transcended into the new
school.
Don't mention that name.
I know him.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, welcome to the show.
What's your name?
My name is Mike.
Okay.
All right, Mike, go ahead. Your favorite wrestler?
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold.
Okay. What do you like about him?
A lot of things.
Okay.
Because it was Stone Cold.
Yeah.
And because of his head.
I go back to the wrestling he fought with 1996 in Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Wow.
Amazing.
Thank you very much.
Lots of people have been watching wrestling from way back.
Yes, way
honestly.
back.
Honestly.
Thank you so
for calling.
much.
Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you.
All right. 1996.
One more call.
Were you born then?
Hello, welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning.
Good
morning
My name
to
is
you.
Comrade Joseph Brown.
Comrade,
All right.
welcome to the show,
Welcome,
sir.
Comrade.
Thank you. My favorite wrestler is Randy Orton.
Randy Orton. Yeah, I think Randy Orton used to do, was it 619?
He's finishing it too fast.
Do you know why I did not like him? He
His
had
finishing used to knock people out.
he had a
people
way
go
of
to sleep.
he had a way of being very very sly.
Yeah. He used to. Yeah, he used to.
He used to snitch on people too much.
He was a one-man
What I
person.
love about him,
Okay,
All right,
thank you,
for calling.
thank you,
for
thank you.
calling.
We have to go. The calls are coming in. The calls are coming in like I can't just relate, but like so many people relate way back.
But I know the person you were
Yes.
talking about. Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan. Why didn't you guys mention that name?
Nobody mentioned Hulk Hogan. I was expecting that to come out really like.
I like. Let's just take one more call before we go. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Good morning. Yeah. Good morning.
My name is Justin.
Okay.
All right,
welcome,
Justin.
Johnson.
Speak to us. Talk to us.
I wanted to mention the Hulk Hogan I just mentioned.
Oh.
Sorry.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right,
thank you so much.
thank you so
Okay,
much.
we have to bounce. We have to bounce. I'm seeing the calls coming in. We have to bounce. We'll do this during the recap. You get to call us up and let us know. Okay. My name is Dave Roberts on Instagram. Dave_Melford_Roberts on Twitter, Facebook. The same thing.
Okay, and my name is Bolo Watife. Okay, on Twitter it's at dbolutife. THEBOLUTIFEH. On Instagram, bolutife_. That's BOUTIFEH_. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Go follow us and have a lovely, lovely day.
Yes. The
ahead.
world news comes up next. Have a great day, guys.
What's happening in Port Harcourt, South South, Nigeria, or around the world, we've got you covered on air, online, delivering balanced news and unbiased analysis. Today, 95.1 FM.
This is Today. 95.1 FM. Port Harcourt. News.
Good afternoon. This is the world news at noon on your premium talk radio. Today, 95.1 FM Port Harcourt. I am Kala Da Kuribatbo. The headlines. ASU rejects condition by federal government to use BVN to pay lecturers owed since February. Governors of 36 states agrees interstate lockdown for 14 days to curb spread of coronavirus. Rivers State government strategizes on third-term learning for pupils amidst COVID-19. On the foreign scene, World Health Organization expresses concern over management of COVID-19 in Africa, Eastern Europe, Central and South America. Stay tuned for the news in details. The federal government has said the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, will be paid despite their insistence on continuing with their strike. Chairman of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 and Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, said this during the daily briefing in Abuja. Mustafa said the affected lecturers who are not on the IPPIS will be paid through their bank verification numbers, BVN.
Not registered on the IPPIS platform. This payment is to cushion the deleterious effect of the COVID-19 period on the lecturers and members of their families. However, all vice chancellors are to revalidate the BVN of the affected lecturers before the Accountant General of the Federation can carry out the payment.
On his part, Minister of Health Osage Yanire appealed to positive patients of COVID-19 to remain in their treatment centers rather than try to escape to other locations, thereby putting other many people in danger.
State Commissioners of Health and the acting FCT Secretary for Health were engaged to review the status and align all responses made rather than to be referred to another state or to their state of origin.
Professor Biodun Ogunyemi, in an interview with newsmen in Abuja, said ASU had rejected the application of force on its members to join the IPPIS in spite of its offer of a more credible alternative to IPPIS. While appreciating President Buhari for his intervention, the ASU president insisted that withholding February and March salaries was unnecessary in the first place, adding that requesting for their BVN is an indirect way to get lecturers back to IPPIS, which they have rejected. President Mahmoud Buhari approved the payment of the February and March withheld salaries of lecturers in federal universities yet to join the integrated payroll and personnel information system to help them cushion the effect of COVID-19. The National Youth Service Corps NYSC has assured that it will pay the allowances for March and April. Director General Brigadier General Shaibu Ibrahim made this known in a statement circulated in the media by the Director of Public Affairs Adenike Adeyemi, also urging corps members to remain calm and safe. He also urged corps members to recommit themselves to the ideals of the scheme even as they put the country's interest at the front line. Meanwhile, 36 state governors have agreed to implement interstate lockdown for 2 weeks as part of efforts to curb the spread of COVID-19 in the country. Chairman of the NGF, Governor Kayode Fayemi, disclosed this in a communique issued after the 6th COVID-19 teleconference of the governors. Governor Fayemi stated that the decision was taken after governors of Lagos, Bauchi, Oyo, and Ogun states briefed the NGF on their experiences to curb COVID-19. He added that the NGF resolved to work with the NCDC to ensure that health workers were adequately provided with personal protective equipment. Operations at the Nigeria Center for Disease Control COVID-19 Test Laboratory in Kano State have been suspended. The center was activated by the NCDC on April 9 at Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital, Kano. But the director of the Center for Infectious Diseases Research at the Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital, Professor Issa Abubakar, revealed that the center had run out of test kits such as reagents. Abubakar said the shortage was observed yesterday when the center tested 44 persons and the reagents were only enough for 40 as the results for the other 4 were invalid due to the shortage. Confirmation tests showed negative. Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano made the announcement in a broadcast to the people of the state. He said some arrangements have been made to decontaminate the home of the index case to ensure that there is no further incident. Governor Obiano said that in addition to the complete closure of all Anambra State boundaries with neighboring states, the wearing of face mask had become compulsory. Socio-economic rights under Conservative has condemned the intimidation, harassment. At this break, more news, foreign and sports stories. Please stay tuned.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
95.1 FM, voice of the people.
And we're back.
All right, thank you for staying tuned to the world news at noon on Today 95.1 FM, voice of the people. Now, allow me bring you the rest of the bulletin. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has announced 3 more deaths related to the dreaded coronavirus, raising the country's COVID-19 death toll to 28. This is contained in NCDC's latest update on the virus that reported 91 new cases as at Wednesday night. A breakdown of the 91 new cases reported left Lagos with 74, 5 cases in Katsina, 4 in Ogun, 2 in Delta and Edo State respectively, while the case was recorded each in Kwara, Oyo, Adamawa and the FCT Abuja. The number of people who have recovered from COVID-19 and have been discharged stood at 197. The Rivers State more details about the third case.
Evacuated to the treatment center and is commenced for RT-PCR test analysis, while risk communication and community engagement will continue unabated as usual. As I mentioned earlier, the Rivers State government-owned public Emergency Operations Center is and will remain in response mode with dedicated and experienced health officers and volunteers doing their best to conquer this pandemic in this part of the world. The treatment center is active and staffed with efficient personnel to deliver the necessary services.
The Rivers State Ministry of Education has revealed plans to roll out a unified e-learning platform for pupils and students in public and private schools in the state. Professor Kanye Ibeku made this known in a meeting with stakeholders in the education sector in Port Harcourt. Ibeku emphasized the need to introduce the program, noting that it will overcome the physical closure of schools created by the ravaging pandemic.
Do we agree that there's a need for us to commence the third term in order that we can still be able to hopefully commence the new session in September? Do we agree? Yes. Okay, fine. Now, since we cannot return to school physically because of what we're doing at the moment for the interest of all of us, and because the governor's order is still subsisting, which nobody can flout, now enter online e-learning platform. Once everybody's at the same level on the second term, and that we need to achieve as quickly as possible, the third term at the end of this week would have been 1 week behind as per our original calendar, which no longer is. At the end of this week would have been 1 week behind. Now we are seeking to further our strategy to ensure the promotion of our program we have codenamed.
Also speaking, the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on ICT, Asawo Ibifuro, explained that the platform will provide students learning materials, books, videos approved by the Federal Ministry of Education, adding that it will be flexible to allow schools to upload their personal materials and create profiles, which will make provision for teacher-pupil interaction.
These things are done, and I know that we are also very, very instrumental to some of the things that are also happening at the center, at the federal level, as regards supporting and ensuring that content is available nationwide. And so here we are looking at coming up with a platform that will be able to help us. If you look at the television and the radio teachings that we've been having, we still have some reservations. While it is reaching out to quite a lot of people and children, in fact, once a radio station does not start the program earlier enough, they start calling the helpline, telling you how serious they are on this.
Our correspondent Sandra Kenneth reports that the meeting also focused on the completion of the second term 2019-2020 academic session and online resumption of schools for the third term 2019-2020 academic session. Some persons who were successfully shortlisted for the Rivers State Neighborhood Watch have asked Governor Nyesom Wike to convert them to the intending state sanitation marshals. Spokesman of the Vigilante Group, Prince Amatari, who spoke on behalf of the shortlisted candidates of the Neighborhood Watch, described the move by the governor as a good decision, but asked that some of the youths who were recruited for the Neighborhood Watch be incorporated into the sanitation marshals. Amatari said the call became necessary so that the infrastructures already set up for the Neighborhood Watch will not go to waste.
The governor's decision to employ 3,000 sanitation marshals in Rivers State is a welcome development because it will go a long way to bring back the status of the Garden City as admired before its lost glory. That agency like Rivneska, which is the Rivers State Neighborhood City Co-Agency, be given the responsibility to saddle its operations since it already have a functional office, a constituted board with profile shortlisted applicant called the Pioneers Intake with uniform already before its distortion by the military. That it will also reduce crime, that unemployment are also militating factors if addressed, that this laudable initiative will be immensely valued and cherished by Rivers youth as it will even cut costs following the advantage of an already existing structure like.
You would recall that Governor Wike announced plans to employ 3,000 sanitation marshals to enforce compliance to the law on waste management in the state. And now on the foreign scene, the World Health Organization has announced that about 2.5 million cases of COVID-19 have been recorded globally with over 160,000 deaths. Director General of WHO, Tedros Ghebreyesus, said this in his opening remarks at a media briefing on COVID-19 in Geneva. Ghebreyesus said the organization had noticed different trends of the virus spread in different regions, saying most of the epidemics in Western Europe appear to be stable or declining. He, however, painted a worrying picture of the situation in Africa, Eastern Europe, Central and South America, who are still in the early stages of their pandemic. The DG of WHO said stay-at-home orders and other physical distancing measures put in place had successfully suppressed transmission in many countries and should be maintained. To end the news, here's a summary of the major stories. ASU has rejected the condition by the federal government to use BVN to pay lecturers owed since February. Governors of the 36 states have agreed on interstate lockdown for 14 days to curb the spread of coronavirus. The Rivers State government is strategizing on third-term learning for pupils amidst COVID-19. On the foreign scene, you heard that the World Health Organization has expressed concern over the management of COVID-19 in Africa, Eastern Europe, Central and South America. That was the news as edited by Victor Eziama. For comments and inquiries, please call 0815-341-8657 or 0814-434-3502 or send your emails to news@todayfmlive.com. You can also read our stories on www.todayfmlive.com. Do not forget, take responsibility. Wash your hands frequently with soap under running water. Always have with you at all times alcohol-based and sanitizers. Avoid touching your face and eye contact surfaces to prevent the spread of coronavirus. If you can, please stay at home. Otherwise, observe social distancing or physical distancing. I am Kala Da Kurubatibo. Thank you for listening and stay tuned to Today 95.1 FM. Good afternoon.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
Officer, take. Officer, give me number. No time. Ma, they match am, they go.
What? You bribing the officer of the law? You under arrest. Let me see your papers. You can go. They're in order. Drive safe, okay?
I don't understand though. No be the same country again. Officer reject bribe. They arrest me yesterday. That yesterday, I go do my papers. See as I pass now. I pass without fear. You too, make you do wetin dey right. For we country to better, it dey for we hand. If you like, do like say you no hear am. To give or to take bribe, na offense.
Una don hear am, abi? You hear am too, abi? You hear am. You hear am well. They themselves, they hear am. Now the voice of the people. Now him bring this message give una. Today 95.1 FM. Now we be the voice of the people.
This one na for country people wey save money for any bank with license for Nigeria. Make una no worry about money wey una put for bank for inside this COVID-19 palava. Sake of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC for short, dey protect am. NDIC and other agencies wey e concern don stand gidigba. Dey monitor all the banks. Make money wey you save no go get accident. We give una assurance say your money dey safe pass for bank, not under bed where you wan go hide am. The protection of your money na sure thing when you go bank wey get license go keep am. Just check say NDIC get sticker for the bank, and if you been get money where you save for licensed bank wey don close down, you still fit to claim the money o. Na to just go NDIC website for www.ndic.gov.ng, go fill form to show say na you get the money, or you fit send email give claims complaint at ndic.gov.ng. For more information, call us free of charge for 0800-6342-4357 or send email give helpdesk at ndic.gov.ng. NDIC, correct protection for your money wey dey bank.
Have you heard that coronavirus has been confirmed in Nigeria?
My brother, don't panic. The Federal Ministry of Health and Nigeria Center for Disease Control have advised that everyone should do the following to stay safe. Wash your hands regularly with soap under running water. Use hand sanitizer if there is no water. Cover mouth with bent elbow or tissue when you cough or sneeze. Dispose the used tissue and wash your hands immediately. Avoid touching eyes, nose, mouth with unwashed hands. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces such as door locks, tables, and chairs. Avoid close contact with sick persons or anybody coughing or sneezing.
Please, Mary, what are the symptoms of coronavirus?
Any person infected with coronavirus can have fever, cough, difficulty in breathing, and shortness of breath.
Don't panic. Coronavirus is preventable. If you have traveled to any country with reported local or community transmission, stay indoors and away from people for 14 days. If you develop any of the symptoms mentioned above, call the Nigeria Center for Disease Control NCDC toll-free line 0800-97000010. Share information about coronavirus only from verified sources like the Federal Ministry of Health, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, and the World Health Organization WHO. This message is from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control NCDC, the Federal Ministry of Health, and partners.
Have you seen my beautiful baby? Have you seen my tomato baby? Oh, baby, suffer the cool me temper.